I will call this committee of the whole meeting to order at 11 o'clock this morning. I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabeg people and that we are holding this meeting today. We need to adopt the agenda, first of all. I have a motion for that.
So move Lightfoot.
And seconded. Toss. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
Is Melissa
And-
here? No?
Yeah.
Oh, she is. Okay.
The adoption of the minutes is next for the committee of the whole meeting on May 5th. To adopt those as presented.
So move, Toss.
Thank you. And seconded by Lightfoot. All in favor? No one had any issues with that, I take it, so we're all good to go. All right. I'll carry on to public comment, and I'll ask Lisa to do that piece of this, please.
Thank you, Worship. So we invite members of the public to provide comments on items related to today's agenda. So if you'd like to speak, please use the raise hand function on Zoom. You can find that by clicking on React at the bottom of your screen. And when it's your turn, I'll read your name and ask you to unmute yourself and you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Speakers are asked to please state and spell your name, provide your address, and indicate the agenda item number you're speaking to. So if anyone would like to speak, please use the raise hand function now. I'll call for a second time. If anyone would like to speak, please use the raise hand function now. And seeing nobody online, Your Worship, is there anyone there at Parish Hall?
No, there's no one here. Thank you.
Thank you. So that concludes the public comment portion of the meeting. Back to you.
Thank you. We'll move on to staff reports and presentations. 6.1 is called Village Enhancement Project. And this is something that I think Diane's going to start, and then we'll pass over to Tanya. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our meeting today. I just wanted to make a couple of comments before Tanya does her presentation. She's put together most of this information for council. So this report is really just to bring council up to speed on a number of things that we're looking into, investigating, working on, all of which would, come back in due course for approval. Should they be the kind of thing that move forward. So Tanya and her team have identified a number of items in the village that that could use some attention. And you may notice through the presentation, some of these items we've discussed before under other team members, because we have a number of people on the team that have worked in a number of different communities. So we have a lot of different experiences that all kind of come together on some of these projects. And so I think it just, in some respects, kind of highlights how important some of them are, because a bunch of us are coming at it from different angles and sort of all arriving at the same place. So I'm going to turn it over to Tanya and let her go through. She has a presentation for you, and we're happy to answer any questions once the presentation's done, if there's any more detail we can add. So over to you, Tanya. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Diane. Hello, everybody. I just made a quick little PowerPoint. That is mist, not smoke. Okay. And you know me, I love my trees. Okay, so today we'll talk about sidewalks, the trees and irrigation, the street lighting, waste receptacles, benches, wayfinding, Hobo Hollow cleanup, and then the Tree Canada. Okay, basically the Village of Lytton has been largely focused on rebuilding and reestablishing consistent core services to the residents since the fire. There have been several smaller necessity infrastructure projects completed while some of the larger projects carry on. And the operations team has been accumulating a list of smaller project initiatives that will be undertaken to enhance the village. Okay, so sidewalks. We all know what the sidewalks look like. It's a big one. So extensive sidewalk repairs are required because the existing ones are damaged and require replacement. New housing and businesses are added. Curb letdowns and curb ramps should also be installed to improve access for people using mobility devices. In many areas along Main Street and Fraser Street, tree roots have lifted the sidewalks, creating a tripping hazard. Replacing the sidewalk will support a more walkable village network with improved universal accessibility. So I only just briefly did, there's so many sidewalk applications, so I only did a little bit just to let you know. So concrete, obviously the most common in municipalities. Poured concrete sections to accommodate temperature fluctuation, offers a high durability and smooth service. I believe the top photo is City of Vancouver. And then another enhancement to a concrete is stamped concrete. Merritt did the stamped concrete downtown, and they did it across the Boat Street Bridge. And they did it with a stamp that had looked like it was wooden. So you can also dye the concrete for any kind of colors, and your stamps can have anything, your logo or whatever. So they just elevated a little bit, like cobblestone, slate, or brick, super expensive, but you can also make your molds of the stamps to accommodate that. Asphalt's cheaper, but usually kind of hot. You know, it's pretty hot, but very good for outside trails to loop around. Brick pavers, we all know that we have so many of them left over. It'd be nice to reuse them in certain areas. I know a lot of places, like that photo at the bottom, is just strictly the whole road. We've had a lot of that in, well, Europe has it, England and stuff like that. It would be nice to refurbish some of those bricks that we have in town, to either do it like on Forest Street or around certain buildings that are already up, the Legion, the Hub, anywhere, because we just have, it'd just be nice to reuse those brick pavers. Okay, trees and irrigation. Trees in an irrigation system is important for reducing urban heat. A mature tree canopy blocks direct sunlight, and trees help cool the air by drawing water from the soil and releasing moisture through transpiration. By shading homes and buildings, trees can also reduce the need for air conditioning, which helps lower greenhouse gas emissions, and irrigation is required for the trees to get established and remain green during the long, hot, dry summer months. I believe there's a study in Vancouver. East Van has no trees compared to, say, I believe it's British Properties that are all treed. It is a 10 degrees different from the shaded part to the not shaded part. So we all know trees are super important. So the best trees for downtown environments should be capable of withstanding compacted soil. If you're putting in at such a small base, radiate heat from pavement, and restricted root zones. We all know that a lot of trees uproot sidewalks, and then it's a tripping hazard. So for when we're looking for trees to plant, you know, look for deep rooting habits that won't fracture sidewalks, predictable growth, preferably column, not more horizontal. Smaller leaves. I know that if you have like a big leaf maple, it's just going to clog up all your drains and stuff. So you prefer to have a little tiny leaf, and then obviously with the wind here just goes, right? So, and then I know for irrigation, the downtown trees in Merritt are along Coshana. There's 3 blocks that all have the underground irrigation. Very, very easy. It's right at the root zone. It's not above line. You just have 2 blowouts at the end of the blocks. And then, as you can see, the subsurface drip line buried beneath the pavement moves water both vertically and horizontally directly to the compacted root zone. And it looks cleaner too. So street lighting, this is a big one. There's so many street lights when you go down that avenue of it. So advanced in lighting technologies have improved the energy efficiency of modern fixtures. LEDs use less and can carry to be installed to reduce waste and unnecessary light pollution. Street lights enhance public safety and help create accessibility, welcoming spaces. And then there's solar lighting provides a cost-effective, sustainable, and resilient lighting solution. So when you look at all the new kinds of lighting out there, it is amazing. Like with the new LEDs, it's just so less cost. It's like that's cost efficient, right? And now there's with these smart photo cells, street lights are coming on at dusk and deactivating at dawn. So right there, that's pretty good. There's all kinds of lighting when you look at it. Solar, Christmas lights can go on it, banners can go on it. It's endless. Okay, waste receptacles. So the village lacks adequate waste receptacles. Many of the existing concrete bins are burnt, cracked, or missing lids. Replacing them with new garbage cans would improve public space by limiting pest access and reducing wind-blown litter. Upgrading to a multi-stream system with separate compartments for paper, plastic, and glass would make recycling easier for residents and help divert more waste to the landfill. So I have looked into all kinds of garbage receptacles over the years. You need something that's heavy duty, that won't blow away, that is animal proof, that would tie into your aesthetics of the whole town. There's so many. We all know when we go to Timmy's, there's the garbage, there's the paper, there's plastic, you know, and they're great. Yeah, so many different kinds and so many different ones with bears trying to get in. It's like a step on or a latch underneath, right? Okay, benches. Benches serve more than a practical purpose. They help organize public spaces, improve safety, and support accessibility. They can separate walkways and roadways, gathering places. Benches also provide a safe resting spot for people with physical limitations. In addition, they can highlight notable features of an outdoor space, whether a landmark or a scenic place to sit and relax. And benches. Benches is another one, like trees and waste receptacles. There's so many types of benches. I came across the one at the top. I believe it might have been, I want to say Qualicum Beach. They have it where local artists have painted all the benches and they're great. So I've dealt with a few benches in Merritt and a lot of them are going towards this recycled plastic at the bottom lower one. You can, if the sun fades it, you can just take a tiger torch to it and then burn it and then the colors come back. They're not that heavy to move. They're a lot lighter to move. So this is a great one from Diane. The village does not currently have formal civic donations. Typically, a municipality offers a program for families to purchase a bench or a tree in honor of someone, typically a former resident or someone with a strong connection to the area. Attached to the memorial bench is a scannable QR code to allow visitors to instantly pull up a video, photo gallery, or written biography of the person being honored. In all areas of the village, QR codes can be used to provide tourists with historical facts about the area or links or anything pertaining to that area. So those are great. Yeah. Wayfinding, lots of signage. So effective sign directly reduces stress for visitors by making spaces easy to navigate, which boosts overall satisfaction and loyalty. Signage serves as a critical pillar for place making, tourist development, economic growth, and public safety. Village infrastructure relies on signage to unify the community and highlight unique historic local history. Direction, informational, and regulatory signs can highlight unique local history, tourism development, and economic growth. So basically, there's only 4 types of signs. You want to make sure that you identify things, you know, let them know that you have arrived. We've all seen those. You are here. Directional, turn left to go to the hub where there's a charging station. Informational, you can say anything about anything. And the regulatory enforces rules like, please do not climb on that. We all know it's signs, yeah. Okay, Hobo Hollow cleanup. So we've been told that we'd like to clean it up for different kind of things going on down there. So there's just been a kind of like a dumping ground for the last little bit. So the area at Hobo Hollow that has been used to store village items not being used will be cleaned up. For items that are no longer required, such as lamp standards, broken planters, etc., the village will make these items available to Lytton residents on a first come, first served basis for anyone interested in taking it, and the remainder will be disposed of. If anybody's got any ideas about recycling, that would be great. Brian had a great idea with me today about the person that made them could take them back. That's a great one. Yeah. Or cemetery markers. Lovely idea. So staff are planning to move some of the piles of dirt that have been deposited in the area over the years to smooth out and make the area more usable. This is planned for the area north of Lytton Creek. In addition to making the area more usable, this will be prepared for possible use of the site as a stockpile location that is required under the Heritage Conservation Act. Okay, Tree Canada. And so I believe Tree Canada and Caribou Carbon Solutions got together and they would like to donate some trees to the village, especially fruit trees for food sustainability. I think it was suggested 25 in Loring Way, which was purchased, but anyways, when the village purchased the property at 25 and 45 Loring Way, there was an MOU in place with Tree Canada to provide trees to plant on the property. We'd gone up and had a look, and after an analysis of potential water sources for the trees, it was determined that the likelihood of success of the trees was low. And we've identified another area on 71 Old Trans-Canada Highway to plant the trees near a water source, and are working on an updated agreement with Tree Canada. So pretty much to sum it up, comprehensive infrastructure upgrades for Main and Fraser Street, focusing on installing new sidewalks, trees, energy efficient lighting, durable waste receptacles, and upgraded signage. These improvements aim to enhance accessibility, sustainability, public safety, and the overall visitor experience in the village and its parks. And this is your team that's going to execute it. I know, right? I couldn't find a better dog for my hair, too. And Felix, of course, and then there's Kevin, very stern, and then there's Edmund. Yeah. And that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Tanya. At this point, it seems like appropriate we can have our discussion and hear what comments and suggestions the presentation has inspired from people. So anyone got any burning issues or questions? Jess was ready to go.
I'm just curious, where is 71 Old Trans-Canada?
Mayor Brian, you could probably say it a little better, just up the hill and down, I guess, where,
And cakes.
yeah.
The start Old Trans-Canada Highway.
Oh, where the
Above,
trailer was?
yeah, up there
Up there.
and then down. Yeah,
Around.
Just a couple of comments on some of this stuff.
absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't catch that, and I had a question as well. Up there or there for me? You talked about
Oh,
the entrance to Old Trans-Canada. Where's 71?
You know where MatCon's office is?
Yeah.
Carry on up the hill.
Yeah.
At the start of the corner. At
Thank
the top of Old Trans-Canada.
Thank you very much.
Just a couple of comments on some of this stuff.
absolutely. There's so much.
Brick pavers, like, I like the looks of them.
Me too.
They were a nuisance.
Oh, were they?
Grass and everything.
Yeah.
Out of it. Peggy used to go around and,
Yeah, I noticed that at
so
Pocket
even
Park.
landscaping cloth underneath. I'm not saying no,
Mhm.
but I'm saying that does bring that ongoing.
Oh, yeah, I know that. And tripping hazards and it's uneven. Yeah.
But if there's mechanicals underneath it, you get to it, makes it
Mhm.
easy too, right? The waste receptacles,
Yeah.
they were always deceiving. They looked really large, but they held a little tiny can with one little bag in them. So,
Yes.
yeah, those
Yeah.
have
And-
never been, they're pretty,
Mm-hmm.
they're not very
Yeah.
functional.
And I do notice from years of collecting garbage, when people put garbage in, they just put it on the top and then it just sits there. So usually there's all this room at the bottom, but you know, you put, and maybe the bag goes like this, but I do know what you mean. Yeah. And then you pull it out, there's hardly any garbage in it. Yeah.
I'm just going down the list.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Lots of chance. The benches, I think we talked about the benches a while ago, about refinishing them as opposed to taking them out. I like those benches.
Mhm.
I'm sort of the mind that even if it's equal cost, I would prefer to have them repurposed than
Mhm.
the garbage. And part of the reason I like them is when they were in town, they're very comfortable and they're large.
Yes.
They're durable. Nobody's going to throw them in a pickup truck and drive away with
True
them.
that. True that.
But we had lots of people come to town and they wanted to know where we sourced them, and we never could find the source.
Mm.
But they were really attractive to
Yeah.
a lot of people. I think that's probably it, other than some of the garbage cans or whatever you showed, they look, well,
I know.
when new buildings come in, maybe they'll
Mhm.
look better.
I just put two up for like
Yeah.
bare ones. There's all different kinds, Jess. When you start looking at them, there's so many waste receptacles. Yeah.
And the irrigation, just the irrigation piping that was put in there originally, so in 2000 or whenever that was, we tried to tap into that several times and struggled to find the shut-off valves. I think one was right in the middle of Main Street. And, but when we went to put the spigots in, the pipe that had been laid was the wrong type of pipe, so it was really difficult to penetrate.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know, with your experience.
Yeah.
And more information, it'll be the right kind, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't guess how many weeks we wasted trying to get it functional.
Really, eh? Yeah.
So what's there probably has to be redone if you're thinking of reusing it. I don't
Hmm.
know that it's really viable.
Oh, okay. It's probably new lines.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I wasn't sure if you wanted to have trees on both sides of the road or just on one side of the road, or did you want to have two sides on Main and one side on Fraser? You know, there's just lots of factors with that one, right? With the types of trees and how you want the trees. And then if you get into trees, then you got to get into tree grates and irrigation, and yeah, it's a lot.
Personally, to me, more trees are better.
Oh, 1000%.
But
Yeah.
we did get a grant at one time. I don't think it was Tree Canada. I can't remember. It was like in 2010. And so we ordered a bunch of trees, but what we found was we had difficult time getting the trees we wanted. We ended up
Mhm.
substituting a lot of trees.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Find the desired ones. So even if it takes a little bit longer, getting those ones with
Mhm.
our root balls are
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure.
Okay, Councillor Toss.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not muted. I couldn't disagree with Councillor Lightfoot more about the pavers. I think they make perfect sense because they breathe. So they actually absorb water as opposed to running off in a lot of cases. I personally took part in getting my son and I, Peggy Shute had us pulling the weeds out of the middle of them. And it was a community endeavor, but it wasn't prohibitive for the pavers. I love the idea of recycling them. They also lend themselves to a little bit of give. So if a root or something does come up, you're not wrecking the whole sidewalk. So I'm very pro paver for many reasons. And I love the idea of recycling what we have. To Jesua's point, reusing the benches as well. Anything that we can reuse, I'm pro, including the light stands, but that's another story. I'd be interested in using the large boulders we have that we've pulled out of the various sewer and water treatment projects as landscape features as well. It's really cheap archaeological way to give, and kids love climbing on them and sitting on them, and it's just really cheap and seems to make sense. I've got a bunch of stuff, but I'm just going boom, boom, boom to get it off. Yeah. The other thing I've always been kind of a proponent for, and we haven't officially tabled it, and this isn't on your presentation, but I'd like to bring it forward at some point for discussion, and that is the closing off of 4th Street in front of the village office, in front of the Legion, between that and the other side of the road. You could still access the alley. You could still, access most of those things, and it would give us a much more walkable community, which we all want, and also potential for more green space. As far as trees, I was disappointed to hear that 25 didn't have the water. I don't know what success we've had with the bags around the trees, but I see them all over Delta, I think, with some success rather than the irrigation. I think using the trees that survived the fire successfully, and I know, Tanya, we talked about that horrible Chinese elm.
Yes,
we need to cut those, but we've got, lilacs that, are so resilient, yuccas, hens and chicks, bulbs, that already made it, that don't require the irrigation or the constant care. I think we should definitely prioritize, especially lilacs. I don't know, Tanya, were you able to see the letter from our resident around the recycling bins?
Yes, I did. From Judith, I did. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to make sure you got that information. I agree with the writer of that reducing the operations and the capacity of public works to empty all these extra recycling bins and extra garbages. I don't think it's the intention of our community to put our recycling in the public bins. That's never really been the case. I get it that a tourist might need somewhere to put it, but it seems like a lot of unnecessary work. I don't know how to work around it, but I think the more bins we have, the more work we have. And it sounds like we're going to have a capacity issue in a few years, especially with all the other, the parks and the landscaping that's going to go around our public buildings. So reducing that as much as possible. And then I guess, where's the budget for this coming from? Is it part of our, is it like at the $10,000 per year that is budgeted for public works, or is there a special account?
Oh, I will leave that for Diane.
Yeah, and I mean, none of these projects are moving forward yet, so there isn't a specific budget allocated. In some cases, these are things that, we've talked about under NDIT grants and things like that. There's other stuff under that, the Growing Communities fund. So there's a bunch of different sources
So
that,
it's
we would identify, like if we were moving forward. Yeah.
Okay, it's a bit of mishmash of funding, and it's not necessarily a hindrance at this point. Like, we're not working within a budget. We're looking what we need, and then we're going to kind of massage.
Which is kind of brainstorming almost.
No,
at this
that's great.
point,
I just
right?
want to make sure we're not working within, really tight parameters. The other one, to that point, about the wayfinding signs, I feel like the museum and chamber are already really well placed to help with that. And if there's money being spent on the wayfinding signs, I'd love to see it somehow find its way through the museum and chamber to maybe coordinate on that, because I think they're really, and especially the museum with its newly appointed commission, could be a great asset and a really a nice way to get the community involved. Because, when we talk about the planters in front of people's homes, I think the more we can get the community to take part in this, I think the better end result will be, and Tanya, yourself included, of course. And then the one other issue I think I have around wayfinding is that we also have signs that are no longer applicable. I know we got down the Highway 1 sign, and there was a few access RCMP that way, those got moved. But I think if we could, as a council, advocate to the post office, perhaps, to take their sign down, I think people get thrown off. It makes our town look really like nobody cares or nobody's bothered to take down the post office sign. And it is, even if they put underneath it, post office 3 kilometers that way, I think it's better than just having dead signage. It's a really bad image for the village, especially the post office. And then I see the blue fencing around Interior Health as a real eyesore. So I don't know what the answer is to that, but if Interior Health could be lobbied to get their butts in gear with either a sign that says future home of, or get rid of the fencing and clean up the site to make it safe. I think it's about a quarter of Main Street. So that I think we should be pushing for. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Councillor Michelle, got any comments for us today?
No, but thank you for the plan that you put together. I found it was fully in depth.
I had a couple things I was wondering about.
Absolutely.
We don't make decisions here, but it's collecting information. But as things move forward, what I find helpful in situations like this is there's so many different ways and so many different opinions. You're never going to make everybody happy, clearly, on which garbage bin you choose. Somebody's not going to like it. But there you go. That's life.
Yeah.
So what helps there is just having a number of choices, the comparisons, the pros, the cons, and then you say, okay, this is the one that's going to make the most sense for us today, and moving on. So lots and lots of stuff. I think for the trees, specifically that tree grant thing, I think that would be really helpful to flush out that more so that people understand what we're talking about, how that might look. Okay. And when you bring that forward, that would be really helpful, because it is it was clearly we're all just kind of wondering, where are we talking about now? What does that mean? And how would that look? And why are we choosing that particular spot, besides the fact that you can get water to it? What else benefits being right? So those kinds of things I think are really helpful when we reach that point in the development. I can't imagine you guys figuring all this out. It's the kind of thing people keep bringing back and saying, and what about, and just good on you. Talk about whacking moles here. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the process of people saying they want something and watching it leave.
Mhm.
That'll be really nice to see people take whatever it is out of that pile that they're gonna take to their home or wherever they're gonna take it to,
Mhm.
and seeing Hubble Hollow get
Yeah, cleaned up.
back to the way it was at one other time and watching new dirt come in there. Yes, Diane.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, we did talk at I believe it was the last council meeting, about the NDIT application that we're doing for the downtown enhancement plan. And so some of these items would fall under that plan too. So it's like some of these things will move forward in a coordinated fashion under that, and then others. So it was really just an opportunity to kind of float a bunch of ideas, let you know some of the things that we're thinking about. And of course, we're always open to anything that you think is missing from the list as well, that we can, add to it and just kind of continue to sort of push forward and wrap into other plans and initiatives that we're doing.
Okay, well, in that case, I do have one thing that wasn't on the list.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been approached a couple of times by John Hogan to have the street signs, like the fourth, fifth, those street signs. Right now, they're in Tlakamitk and in English. And he was suggesting that perhaps we could consider having at least the side streets show different languages that have been here, so acknowledging the history of the place by having something in Chinese, something in Korean, something in, right, and just having and then French, like just acknowledging a whole bunch of languages on the street signs. So I thought that was an interesting question to ask. And so if we could see what that might look like, and that might be kind of a fun thing to explore at some point in time too. Jesla.
I'm going to jump back to street lighting. People really miss that. I liked your picture with the snowflakes on there, because
I know, I missed that one too.
yeah, a lot of people miss
Yeah.
that. And for whatever reason, the street lights that we have are not that bright.
Mhm.
I know BC Hydro said we could ask them to change them up or whatever, but I know people walking around town now, even with the street lights, it's hard to see.
Mhm.
So I think that ornamental lighting or whatever is good. Noni and I were talking earlier, and something that's got brackets on it so that you can mount
Christmas stuff and banners. Yeah, like Riverfest is coming. Yeah.
But one area that we never had streetlights, and I don't know if it's an issue now because the houses aren't rebuilt up there, but on above Pocket Park, on that top street, right? Peggy used to walk down to the meetings,
Mm-hmm.
and there were no streetlights on that strip between the top of the stairs and 6th, maybe.
Yeah.
At least 5th. And so it was really dark. We looked into it. It's going to cost quite a bit of money. It was going to cost like $20,000 or something to put a street light there. So then we started looking at solar.
Yeah.
Right? So even if some secondary solar lighting or whatever else, those less traveled, but
Yeah.
areas, it would be nice.
Well, I like solar because it's free. You don't pay for it anymore once you pay for that initial cost, right?
I know in the wintertime though, Noni and I look at the solar lights in the Pocket Park, and they don't last very long.
Yeah.
But technology is evolving, so
Mm-hmm.
I think
Makes sense
there.
Anything else? No, I don't see Councillor Thomas. Okay, so it looks like we have a motion to have the committee of the whole receive. Yes.
Oh, hi,
Darryl.
Daryl.
Yeah, I
Hi.
just wanted to, just a few quick comments. Great presentation, Tanya. Really thought it was really well done and really thorough, and some really good discussion too from everyone. Just a couple of quick comments. The streetlights also add to a measure for crime prevention. Yeah. So if you have, you have street lights and things are well lit, you tend to have reduced crime. So that's, a good benefit to having good street lighting. Comment on the bricks and the pavers. They're good for if you want to re and take stuff out, but you can also use a cement-based jointing sand, which would probably help reduce like weed growth over time. So that'd be one thing you could probably consider. As well, at a previous, I think it was committee of the whole, we talked about angle parking. I have looked at that and I have a plan. It's just about done. And it does look like in a number of our streets that angle parking within the existing confines, what we have would fit. So there'll be more information on that coming up. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Great.
That's it. No other comments, no? All right, then we'll get to the business of doing this thing we have to do here. That the committee of the whole received the village enhancement projects report for information. I need a motion.
So
Moved by Toss, seconded by Lightfoot. All in favor? Yes, we're carried. Okay, so point number 2 is the addressing summary. And I think Brian's here to help us a bit with that. And anything else, Diane, you want to start on this one? Hi, Maggie.
Hey,
No, sorry, I'll just turn it right over to Maggie. Thank you.
Okay, there you go, Maggie.
okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Maggie Cross, and I'm the planning assistant for the village. And I'm just here to present you guys with a report and bring you up to speed on an addressing project that Carolyn, Brian, and I have recently undertaken. And this project is going to be used or done to utilize the grant funding from the 2023 Next Gen 911 program and just use it to update the village's addressing networks. So for context, pre-fire, Lytton had a variety of addresses that were not always consistent with their legal titles or tax folios or practical access. And then now, post-fire, as Lytton is rebuilding and developing, some new parcels, as well as these mismatched parcels, are being consolidated or subdivided or given new addresses or put onto old street names that are not consistent with the existing address databases, such as like Google Maps. And this has been identified as a significant risk for a few different reasons, but most importantly for emergency response as well as emergency callers, because both of these parties rely on address databases to accurately identify where they are, as well as routing the emergency responders to get to the emergency in due time. So with these out-of-date or mismatched address information, the emergency responders, or callers that are maybe unfamiliar with the area actually might not be able to respond to these emergencies at all. So over the past few months, Carolyn has been compiling a list of about 50 addresses that have been known to be inaccurate. And since then, we've been looking at them and seeing how are we going to approach this issue. We know that there's a potential for more addresses to be inaccurate within the village boundaries that are just not yet to our knowledge. And so as we know, issues like this likely are not going to resolve themselves. And we've decided that to resolve it sooner than later would be smart to ensure that any future emergencies can be responded to quickly and without any issue. So with this, we put a plan in place to resolve these issues through an addressing audit. So this audit would be conducted by having a consultant come in and take an inventory of all the existing addresses, road names, and parcel information within the village boundaries, and using it to identify and then subsequently correct any discrepancies between municipal records, so the village's zoning map, the village's records, and comparing it to any regional, provincial, or commercial digital mapping platforms. And then this also, just as it happens to be, will assist with tax rolls and property assessments and things like that too, and make them more accurate. In this, me, Carolyn, and Brian have met with 3 other groups to discuss our planned project, and we have decided to plan to enter contract with McIlhaney to complete this project. We've come to this conclusion because McIlhaney has actually completed very similar projects in nearby communities, including Lytton First Nations, Scuppa, and Yale First Nations. McIlhaney has also provided a very detailed proposal that outlines a phased approach for the project delivery, which will allow us to stay within the budget of the Next Gen 911 grant. And they also have quite an aggressive timeline, which works for us as well, with most of the activities anticipated to occur over the summer and into the fall. So yeah, and then to fund the project, I know Councillor Toss would definitely be wondering about this. We're planning to use the grant funding to pay for the consultant and all the projects or activities that they undertake. So a little bit on this funding, if anyone may need a refresher, is that in 2023, the village was awarded $45,000 from UBCM's Next Gen 911 grant program. And this funding was provided to support municipalities in renovating its infrastructure for the upcoming transition to the new 911 response platform. And this platform utilizes specific point data of callers from addressing platforms to respond more accurately to calls. So this project goes hand in hand with the initiative that this project, or the program, sorry, is trying to take. And yeah, so it's our recommendation that utilizing the grant funding for this work will allow the village to address a very significant public safety issue, and do so without placing any additional pressure on the current municipal operating capacities. And yeah, we just wanted to share that with you and, you know, answer any questions you guys may have and keep you updated.
Thank you. Okay. Brian, did you have anything to add?
No, Maggie did a good job kind of presenting what the issues are.
Okay, so between the two of you, you can answer questions, right?
Sure.
You got any questions on this one?
I don't have any questions. I just have a comment. I know that many years ago when I was in office, there was inaccurate 911 addresses. And for whatever reason, the obstacles presented seemed overwhelming, so they were never corrected.
Mhm.
So once this is once the database is established, then that is shared with all the outside agencies so that it's a smooth flow of information between TNRD, 911, whoever else.
Yeah, exactly. So how it would operate is McElhaney will come and take the audit and collect all the information and then create, it's kind of hard to explain, but they'll create a little bit of like a data package almost that they would then send to TNRD, Google for Google Maps, all the different types of platforms, as well as like things like BC Assessment, all the different provincial, I guess they call themselves aggregators. And then it would kind of, if you can imagine it in your head, just like wipe the slate clean. And hopefully at that point, everything will kind of be consistent with each other.
And so will there be consistency? I know on the west side, we've got 911 numbers, and it's just a nightmare because there's some fee simple property mixed in with reserved numbers. And there's no rhyme or reason to the numbers. For instance, mine's 3960. But just down the road, it's 940 or something. And so we get new ambulance drivers or whatever coming into our region and they just find it confusing at best. So I'm just wondering, you know, we've got adjacent reserves. I'm just curious how that number flow will be developed.
Yeah. So, Brian, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to this, but I think it would be not within the scope of this specific project to do a renumbering of everything, because I would assume that would take up quite a bit of time just to like lay out all the parcels and things like that. I agree though that I think this is part of what I was saying in the like pre-fire, like olden days of Lytton, where and they say this a lot even in the Lower Mainland, like where I grew up, places that weren't essentially established on proper streets, and then a street happened to come up after the parcel was, you know, laid out, that address numbers just kind of start getting thrown around a little. I don't know if we'd be able to change any of the addressing, but I would assume that McElhaney would plan to, you know, fix if there's any sort of like mismatched address numbers, if that makes sense. So for example, if your home is 9610 street name, but then on, you know, on the online mapping it says like 7982, then the McElhaney will be able to look at those two and determine which one to follow based on, you know, other types of address platforms and which address kind of comes up more often.
I guess I'm just saying, I don't expect a perfect system, but an improved system is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, Councillor Toss.
Thank you, Acting Mayor McCann. I'm curious about this TNRD area IR, like IR 17 and 18. So what Councillor Lightfoot's referring to doesn't seem to be within village boundaries. So where does the grant extend to? Like, my understanding was it just be the properties within the village proper.
Well, if I can clarify, I wasn't saying that it would be that area. I was just giving that as an example of inconsistency of numbering and how it could be confusing.
But to be clear, we're not tackling the west side or the IR 17, 18.
Oh, no.
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 Well, I just got muddled there. Brian's got some comment on that.
So just kind of a comment on that from a first responders point of view, Lytton Fire Rescue, the whole intention of Next Gen 911 across the board is to address these issues and give funding to each organization to do that. Right.
Great.
So this isn't unique to Lytton. This isn't unique anywhere. We have been in discussion with neighboring communities. They started the program when 911 first came to town. Right. So what has been requested by first responders is that we have consistency. So we're talking with other people. That's one of the good things about working with McElhaney is they have done some work. Where the numbers come from, I'm trying to figure out within our own system how we designate a number. Like why is there 666 Station Road, 666 Main Street? How many 140s is there in town? Like we don't really have a lot of houses, so I don't understand why we have to have the same number. Right. Again, this is a problem across the board. Maggie came into this discussion because she understands the GIS technology discussions that is supposed to address this. And then it'll go out to the Google world and all these maps will be together and similar. Right. That's the hope. Not everybody knows where Chicken Corner is. Not everybody knows, like we just had this conversation the other day. Is it Hobo Hollow Road, Drive, or the road to Hobo Hollow?
River Drive.
Or River Drive?
Yeah.
Like everybody has a name for it. We need to put up signage. So as far as the wayfinding, my experience with highways has been we can oversign things. So that would be my caution there. As far as putting up a bunch of language, it can get so overwhelming that you don't even see what it is anymore. So keeping it simple. What the TNRD is doing right now is they're providing signage for their residents, and then it's kind of up to them to put it up. That doesn't always happen, or it doesn't get put in the right location, right? So then your first responders, if they have a map technology that tells us where it is, they're not looking for a sign. But that's what they're trying to get to.
The sign confirms their address. Yes, Councillor Toss.
Thank you. First of all, I forgot to say in my earlier comments, I thought, Maggie, you did an excellent presentation, super articulate, and makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. I'm totally in support of this. And I wanted to apologize to Councillor Lightfoot, who about a year ago told me, well, you know, Councillor Toss, I think your property there, 125, 145 goes in that order because it's lower to higher. And I argued with you and have since been humbled. So I think there's a lot of value in this. And I'm completely supportive of it. And the more we can work with the surrounding communities and our emergency responders, it's the better. And I hear what Brian's saying about too much signage also is confusing. So that resonated as well. But thank you so much, Maggie.
Yes, thank you. Both of you. All that I would like to just summarize what I heard was that that things are moving along, that there isn't any real direction needed by council. This is information that's really helpful to know, but also reassuring to know that everyone's on the same page and that that the end result is more efficient response. Oh, sorry.
That's okay, thank you. I just was looking at my notes and I forgot one more question. I know when some addresses changed in the last couple of years because of orientation of homes, that people had to change their, their driver's license, some of their billing stuff, like a lot of maybe their sign for their front of their house. And I'm wondering if there's any sort of, with this, if we can help residents navigate that and say, look, if your address is changing, these are the organizations that you should let know, because if somebody's address changes, that might have other repercussions that might be addressing, so that at least we can tell our residents, what to expect, I think.
A little heads up.
I think and for your guys' awareness as well, when the addresses get updated. So for example, Carolyn and I actually had a meeting with a member of BC Assessment last week, And the idea for this project is once it gets updated to all the different provincial aggregators, I understand that they kind of work in a silo-ish environment, but once it gets updated there, the addresses will be updated for the following years of like tax assessments or property assessments, sorry, and tax rolls. So there is a little bit of a lead time there for getting their addresses updated for everything else as well. I think it would be really smart for us to put together a document though to have available on the website for, yeah, the FAQ or steps on how to go about updating those things for sure. Yeah, great idea. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Is there any other comments? Councillor Michelle, any comments? And I don't see anything else. Nobody else? We're all good? I'm hearing crickets, gang. Okay.
No.
So, well, hearing no other comments, then I would ask that we have a motion that the Committee of the Whole receive the June 2nd, 2026 addressing summary report for information. Moved by Lightfoot, seconded by. Oh, I get two hands. Look at that. Okay, so we'll say Toss and Michelle, and CO Mark can now pick up whichever she wants. And that is carried. Yes, we're all in favor.
Aye.
And being no new business, that moves us to adjournment. And I would like to have, please, that the Committee of the Whole meeting held today be adjourned at whatever time it is right now.
11:52.
11:52. Excellent. Motion.
To adjourn.
There you go. Okay, that's Ross and seconded by Michelle. Thank you. And we're all in favor. Yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And Lisa, I'll pass it over to you to close everything off. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. So that concludes the Committee of the Whole meeting. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Good
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
Bye.